Hello, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to the Decisive Podcast series. I'm Roberto Ingram. Super happy today yeah, to understand that this is the beginning of the year, January, first episode in January, and I'm happy to have this guest. He's been around for a while. He's been on the show. I got to keep saying that, but it seems like it's once a year because he seems to be progressing every year with something really cool coming. And really love him a lot. His name is Lou Hill. He's from New Orleans, and he's done a lot of cool things, which we will get into in a moment. We want to have a conversation about Digital Fantasy. It's an album they just released, but it feels like that they are have something special that's shifting in their whole thing that they do. So not just for the band, but for independent artists building worlds around their work, shall I say? Because a lot of this AI stuff going on, and a lot of immersive input and digital input, and Lou seems to be one of those guys that were in the forefront. So we're gonna have a conversation about that. So please welcome right now to our show, Mr. Lou Hill. How you doing, Lou? Greetings.
What's going on, Roberto? How's it going, man? How's Germany treating you?
It's treating me good now that you're here. It's
Okay.
cold. It's pretty cold over here. How's it doing? How's it going over there?
It's cold over here. We're getting some Arctic blasts, so I know just north of us it'll be down to 19 or 20 degrees, and New Orleans we're gonna drop to about the 30s, but right now it's in the high 60s. So
Arctic blast. Where we at? I think we're like -2.
oh well, good for you, man. Yeah, when we coming to Munich anytime soon, I tell you that.
And if you do, come bring a barrel coat.
Hey, I don't even have a coat that could deal with that. That's what's up with that. It's like I have to get something when I got there.
So it's an early morning for you right now, huh?
It's I mean, it's not super early. I've been up for a while, but it's definitely outside of maybe going to the gym. Yeah, I usually wouldn't be doing much, kind of
Mhm.
getting my day started, So it's a little early. It's a little early, but this is what it's about. This is what it's about. So I'm happy to be here.
Anything new happening?
As far as just life in general or
Yeah,
what?
yeah, for sure.
Oh, there's always new things, man.
Are you still in the gym? Or are you forgetting
No, I
it?
still go to the gym 3-4 days a week. So I still hit it. I'm off today. Well, usually I would be at the gym during this time, but because I knew we had this, it's like, it's kind of throwing my schedule off,
Yeah.
but for a good reason. So usually I go in the morning. So I did twice this week already. Then I'll jump back in tomorrow and keep it moving. So yeah, man, so gym, hanging, music, hearing new music,
Mhm.
checking out new stuff. I last night and I had a late night, so that didn't help. I went to
Oh, really?
the Folk Alliance Internationale, which is
Oh,
a
wow. Okay.
convention that is designed to have folk music of all types, and you would think it would just be a bunch of people with guitars singing, but they pretty much define folk music as any storytelling type of music. So it was cool. And it's like they have major features and stuff until 11 o'clock in the major rooms. During the day, they have like panels. And then up till 2 o'clock in the morning, they have like private room showcases. So it's like you go to different hotel rooms and they have different artists performing in different hotel rooms that are like packed out. So it's like 12 floors, and I hung out in the Black Americana music room, which was so packed. It was like in this suite, man. It must have been like 60 people. It was hot. It was like everybody was just packed in there hearing these artists perform. So it was cool. It was
Okay,
cool.
so they had a good turnout then, huh?
Oh no, bro. This is like
Good thing?
7,000 people minimum. I mean, it's 12 floors. Like I said, it's 12 floors of engagement. So it was a lot going on. So it's people everywhere. So good networking. Saw some friends, met some new ones. So it was cool. Wasn't on the agenda, but it kept me out till like 2:30 in the morning. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Sounds like a good one to me, man. Lou, for everyone that's joining us, why don't you give us a 30-second vision on who Water Seed and what Digital Fantasy is?
Well, Water Seed, we call ourselves a future funk band, and that means that we want to push the limits of what quite specifically funk is, what we as Black slash African American people can do in music, because a lot of times we're put into boxes like you can only do this sound. So it's kind of like an alternative to R&B, rock, hip hop, and pop. We spend a lot of time focused on making sure we get the right sound, get the right music, get everything really popping and really happening. Digital Fantasy is our latest album, came out this past October, so October 2025, and it's a great album. We put a lot of time and effort into it, and I really feel like we're starting to cultivate what a merger or gumbo of different genres are in a way that everybody will understand. So I think that's what digital fantasy is.
Oh, okay, cool. So a lot's been moving around Digital Fantasy recently.
Correct. Hmm.
The reception, the momentum, the new opportunities opening up for you. Before we get into the details about the album itself, how are you personally experiencing this moment right now?
Hey man, is all I consistently I move a lot. So I don't really sit still in concepts and things. And so I shouldn't say concepts, but once something is released to the wild, I do things to take care of it and make sure that people are hearing it and seeing it, but it's not necessarily on to the next thing, but it's on to the next phase.
Okay.
And so for me, I haven't really caught my breath about the moment yet. I mean, I see the numbers have gone up, 200%. I've seen that. I've seen engagement go up the same way. I've seen people are really feeling the album and receiving the album. So I've seen a lot of growth there, but I'm just like, what else can we give them? What else can we give them? Let's keep
Mm,
going. So,
mm.
we already have the new album, the next album recorded, and then we'll start working on the one after that in about a month or so. So, yeah.
When you were making the Digital Fantasy, what felt different this time in the room in the process compared to to all the other albums of Water Seed? What would you say?
So this is the first album where three of the core members actually stepped up to sing and kind of be in front of the stage to do everything. So this is the first album where I'm singing a lot of songs. Sinise the flautist is singing a bit, and Gentleman Sharp on keys is singing a bit. Gentleman Sharp has done leads on albums before, so this is us kind of stepping into ourselves, saying this is our identity, this is who we are, and it feels really comfortable. So that off break is what's very different. The second part is we were able to really double down on production and really get sounds and sound designs we wanted to, like how we wanted the vocals to feel, how we wanted it to be placed in the mix, just really cultivating like a sound. Like, how can we get this to sound unique to us and authentic to us, but also very fresh and familiar, in a real way.
Um, was there a specific moment, maybe a conversation, a session, something where you realized that the project needed to be bigger than just an album?
If we're talking about the music, I guess I would need to understand, like, what do you mean bigger? If we're talking only from the
Meaning that you went from making the music, now you got this whole world around it, the immersive thing. So,
so we've always had an idea of wanting to expand into comic books and into video games and cartoons and all of that stuff. So every album, if I'm being honest, has always had like a visual concept. This is just the
oh,
first album where we're actually doing it. We're actually
okay.
saying this is the album that we're going to do, and we're going to put
Hmm.
the full visual
Hmm.
a funk star lore into this album. And that's what we've done with this one. You know, we had an EP come out called Sounds of the Wasteland, which was in 2023. And we also did that. We did that as well. We have a soundtrack to
Mm.
Sounds of the Wasteland, which was a comic book we released. And so now that we've released the comic book Journey to Funk Star, now we have a soundtrack with that one as well.
What's the soundtrack?
For which one? Well, Sounds of the Wasteland is
Right.
called Sounds of the Wasteland,
Okay.
and the soundtrack for Journey to Funk Star is called Digital Fantasy. Mhm.
Once you committed to making this full world, not just an album. I mean, it's kind of a world thing that you guys are doing with this album. What changed about how you approached everything? The visuals, the live show, the digital experience. Was there anything that you guys kind of gravitated to on your way while you dipping into this new way of thinking?
Well, it's not a new way of thinking. It's just we just like I said, we just were fully realized in what we were doing when we released the first comic book. It was very it was separate from the music. I just wanted to release a comic book, and we just happened to do a album release with a comic book attached to it. And we found like people really were into that. Like that's something cool. It was something beyond just a show. It was something that allowed people to kind of go outside of their shell of what they thought was going to be there. So we doubled down on that and we said, well, we've always had this concept of the future funk stars. Now is the time to really like move on that. And so with the success of that EP Sounds of the Wasteland, we said we're going to double down on it and create this experience. I shouldn't even say create the experience. We're going to bring to life the experience of like storytelling and lore and comic books and immersive
Right.
shows and cartoons and stuff. So
Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear because I think that's I'm thinking, is it anything new? I'm not sure. But for you to go into this and the experience that you get from, I'm sure everyone's particular path is quite unique, and I know you had lots of challenges getting there, right?
yeah, I mean, anytime you're trying to do anything new, it's complicated. You know, you're gonna have your challenges. You're gonna have all the things that you need to work through. And look, every day we're going through new challenges. You know, we have meetings all the time about where we want this to go. And three people on the team will, you know, if we're talking to a team, three people on the team will get it. One person will say, this is too much. I can't do it. And even when it comes to booking shows, when we're booking Journey to Funk Star, a lot of venues are scared of it. They're like, it's too big. It's too massive. We don't want to do it. You know, we don't want to blah, 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 blah. And you just keep going. It's very interesting that I think we live in a time where people won't expand experiences and everybody's just kind of content and comfortable with where things are.
Oh,
Everybody's like a
really?
level of, in my opinion, a level of fear
Yeah.
of exploring something new just for the sake of, hey, if we do this, I can make $5. Yeah, but if you do the other thing, you have a potential to make $20. You'll guarantee to make the five, but you can make 20 now. No, we'll just stick with the five. And that's what we see a lot happening with what we're doing. And it is what
Mm,
it is. You
mm.
know, we are finding ways to get this show off the ground and to get everything really lined up. And I guess I should speak specifically to the show. So we have an immersive show called Journey to Funk Star that brings our comic book Journey to Funk Star to life. And what that does is the album Digital Fantasy that we're talking about is the soundtrack for that. So when you come to the show, there's a massive screen, there's animation, a comic book is coming to life, the characters are talking to each other, the characters are talking to the audience, the characters are talking to me and other band members. There's all this cool stuff happening. It's really like stepping into our universe. And that's what we've been working very hard on, getting it really rolling and moving over the past uh roughly now 2 years. This this spring will be 2 years we've been working on it.
So that's a little bit behind the scenes, right? What you're doing, because I also was want to lead on some more about that. You've been partnering with some promotional teams and working with some AI, exploring immersive digital platforms. Walk us through some of the processes and what's been some of the challenges at the time of this industry that's kind of plagued a little bit.
Well, I don't. We haven't had any. We've had partnerships with a tech company. Well, one tech company. We've been talking to different tech companies,
Mhm.
and the partnerships have been good. As far as any other partnerships, we haven't had any partnerships with any other companies. And as far as AI goes, outside of a few little shorts you may see on our Instagram posts, we really don't use a ton of AI. We spend a lot of time. We look. I wish that from an ethical point of view, we could get away with just using AI. But us being artists, our comic books are drawn by our comic book illustrator. Um, design Sunset. He does. In fact, he sends me messages every day about the sketches and what he wants to do with the comic book. The animation, everything you see on the big screen when we do our shows, those are actual animators that have built those worlds, put those worlds together, that have done all of that stuff. And I know a lot of people are just like, oh, it's AI heavy. It's like, no, bro, we actually tens of thousands of dollars go into paying to get our animation and stuff on the screen. Now, prior to technology being what it was, it would probably be hundreds of thousands of dollars, which means this wouldn't get done. But we spend a nice chunk of change on most things. Like I said, we do use AI. If you go to our IG, you may see some AI little shorts, but
Mhm.
that's usually no more than 20 seconds.
Mhm.
We want to be, and we are uh visual artists heavy in what we do, you know,
Mhm.
like human beings.
Mhm. Do you think AI is going to be replacing a lot of jobs, or you think people will be able to discover what AI music sounds like? I mean, the feeling that people put into their sound. You think a lot of musicians feel like, why should I waste my time of honing the craft and just go ahead and use it? What do you think? What do you think that's going
I
to look
mean,
like?
AI is definitely going to replace jobs. There's no way around it. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. AI is here to stay. You can't replace it. Outside of us going through a technological, you know I don't know, solar eclipse or something. Look, AI is here. It's not going anywhere. The way I like to talk to people when they ask me about AI, I'm like, is that your discretion? If you want to be the artist that just uses AI to create music, be that artist. It's personal. It's like for me,
Okay.
I need to touch a keyboard, I need to touch a piano, I need to touch, drums. And even, I mean, think about it this way, like um the drum machine. And, the drum machine, everybody said would replace drummers. Now, for the stuff that we do on most of our studio albums,
Mm.
the way we record that is I usually create like a song that I like or an idea. Then I get on the drum set back there and I play what I think is a good feeling and what I think is a good groove. And, then I record it on 2 tracks. And then I redesign that with samples. Like I redesign that with drum samples. Like I want a certain sound, I want a certain snare, I want this, I want that. Um, and I do that because, I may not have the best microphones. I don't have the time to spend 2, 3 days working on a drum mix. I don't have
Mm.
time to do that. And so, but I can substitute
Okay.
and get the exact sound that I want. And that's my choice. Some people don't use live instruments at all. But for me personally, I feel like what I want to create is something that, though from an audio point of view, it may not be the last iteration, it may not be the final iteration, but everything was played, and look, musicians, I don't care what they say, they're creating 4-bar loops. They're not playing every chord. They're not playing every part of, oh yeah, take my best take and then fly it over to the other parts and whatever. AI is different. Some people are going to use it and just do whatever with it. Hey, good for them. I'm just like, if you're creative, you got to create, keep creating.
And yeah, keep creating and practicing and keep honing in the skill. Okay, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's yeah,
Yeah.
that's to be continued, I guess.
I don't want to be in a place of fear with any of this. I'm kind of like, be in a place of creation and for momentum. Control the things that you can control. So if you may play all your instruments and run it through AI because you can't afford a mix engineer. Are you going to be mad at the person for doing that? I don't know. It's like they got their music out. They couldn't spend $1,000 for somebody to mix it down. They paid 19,
Mm-mm.
a month, whatever. It's so, that's what I mean by jobs are going to be lost. It's just, it's no way around it. So I kind of feel like, eh,
I
you
felt that
know,
same way. When I got a really huge vinyl collection, and for some reason I did not get rid of them. And digital came, and now it's this point where AI is exhausting, exhausting people. I mean, even the digital music age kind of exhausted everyone. And now, if I read correctly, the last 4 to 5 years, vinyl has risen and selling on a
I mean, it's been over the past 10 years, it's been
10 years.
outside. So I do think that with the increase of AI, that people are going to want real things. So that's why I think you have to be,
Tangibles, yeah.
yeah, you have to have a sense of, if you're just dropping it in a computer, you won't be able to perform that. If you're just dropping it in different places, you won't understand even what's happening. And I think people are going to eventually get tired of certain things, and they're going to want tangible things, and they're going to want to know, this guy played this. So even for us, and we play like the instruments on all of our albums, even if they're replaced down the line, like I said, like drum substitution, which is not unusual. uh Even with that, with every album we release a live version of that album. It's like we go in the studio, we record a live version of the studio album. And what I mean by live, like everybody in one room at one time, 3, 4, go. Like play downbeat, all live drums, all live everything, singing, mistakes, guitar, everything live, because we know that people want both sides of the coin. It's like, I want the highly produced stuff that's like studio club banger, but also I'm a music lover and I want to get a vibe for their show. So we do both. And it's just like you're providing both areas of need. And it's personal for me in that, look, I love live music. I love both. And if we can provide, our fans and new fans with both experiences, I dig that.
To have those live experiences, there's nothing AI can do about that kind of that kind
Yeah.
of lovely experience. As the project grew beyond the typical album cycle, what did you have to protect creatively, financially, personally, or just to keep it sustainable?
What do you mean past the album cycle, the
Meaning
release?
that, like I said, you were doing the albums and you started immersing all this stuff inside. Were there anything you had to protect or financially,
I mean, everything. I
gain,
mean, this is
sustain?
the music. It's called the music business, and it's 90% business, 10% music. If you want to compete, very few people are fortunate enough to only focus on their music. And I mean, you have to protect everything. You have to make sure all of your intellectual property is protected. You have to make sure. your financing. What's your budget to get the stuff out there? How are you looking? How are you moving? What's your goal? Are you going to release the whole album and promote it for 2 weeks? Are you going to release a single at a time, then release the album? How are you going to do it? All of these things are just normal strategy things. For us, we're seeing a lot of, we're using the old school 80s 90s way of doing things, where we drop the album and we're just pushing singles like every month or every 2 months. Like we dropped the album, we were pushing our song Black Leather. It did really well. A lot of people listened to the album. Then we moved on to Too Hot, doing well. Now, in the next week or so, we'll start pushing the next single, which will be The Best of Me. And we'll just go and we'll do that all year. And even as we release new music, we'll just keep going. And we're just having fun. We're right now, we're making our own rules, like this is what we think we want to do. We believe we have a method and how to do it. And that's what we're doing. And I know that sounds very business like, oh, well, what's people's favorite song? The truth is, if you're not doing the things where people are listening, very few people listen to the full album. I can't say
Hmm.
how many times I've been in meetings
Hmm.
and people are like, I'm a huge fan. I was just at the Focal Lines. The guy was like, hey man, I love y'all music. I've been playing y'all on the radio and everything. I'm like, well, thank you, man. Hey, hey man, look, y'all dropped anything new lately? I was like, well, what do you mean in the past month? He's like, no, in the past year. So you're a fan and you pulled me on the side talking to me. We dropped in October. Have you heard Digital Fantasy? No, not at all. Oh, okay. Here's Digital Fantasy. Oh, man, I'm gonna check it, like your foot in your mouth kind of thing for him. But
Uh-huh.
it's just like there's so much music out there nowadays. There's so much going on.
How do you
People
compete
don't
with that kind of attitude? I mean, meaning, you said you rapid fired a bunch of releases, albums you want to put out. Is that because you feel like that it's important to keep yourself out there, or what?
No, it's the nature of the beast, honestly.
Mhm.
We do really well with merch when we do albums and CDs, but truthfully, people are going to their listening devices. They're going, I'm going to say it softly because I have this in my house. They're like, okay, Google, you know, do this. Hey, Alexa, do that. Hey, this person, do that. And that's what they're saying. So if I say, okay, Google, play Water Seed, what's going to happen is it's going to have a preset, whoever Spotify, Apple Music title is going to have a preset of which songs are played. And our goal for releasing music, we want people, when they say those words or they go to that and those lists are made, they can stay on our channel
Mhm.
and listen for 4 or 5 hours, like hit after hit after hit
Great.
hit. And I think that's how fans are really built nowadays from the streaming, non-touring method. It's like,
Okay.
if I can
Mhm.
say, you know, play bounce music and this artist jumps up and it just plays bounce music nonstop and it's the same artist, eventually people become fans of that artist. So it's like we're like, how do we get people, if they want to hear future funk,
Yeah.
even say, hey, play future funk, and then we just go 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 go, and it's like a bunch of what we're doing. And so that's just one method. I mean, we have a lot of methods on the ground. So when we're thinking about releasing music, and we're getting there, like I was listening the other day, I listened for like 35, 40 minutes straight. And it was like, okay, Water Seed banger, Water Seed banger, Water Seed, one after one. I didn't skip any of our songs. It was like, so I felt like that's why we do it. So the more music that people have, the more have access to, the more opportunity in our minds that they will hang around and be like, I'm a fan of that band.
And you think that that also could contribute to you at some point say, okay, we have 7 albums behind us. Now we can really make sure the ones that are missed, those are now consuming those while we prepare for the next wave. You see that
Yeah,
happening at all?
I mean, I don't know how many albums we have. I think it's more like 12 or 15, something like that. There's a lot of albums. And we were just in a rehearsal on Thursday talking about this. And it's like, bro, there's a lot of music. And we forget how much music we've released. Um,
Hmm.
and we're putting some of those older songs back into the set. Like
Yes.
we're gonna put them back in the set. What's important, our biggest problem has been because we've had multiple vocalists, has been unfortunately the sound of the band to most people's ears. If you have a new vocalist, and this is for indie bands and major bands, when you get a new vocalist, people are going to be on which side of the fence. Oh, they sound this way. Oh, they sound that way with this guy, and they really judgment about vocals. So
Hmm.
uh our biggest thing is like having consistency in the sound. And now that I think we're landing on us being just the front vocalist, we want the world to hear us as the vocalist as much as possible. So it's not us against ourselves in the past, but it's us really trying to say, this is the sound that we are. This is what we're going. So this is where we're shooting. And we want to explore our singing, our songwriting, our performance. And so we're excited really about just getting as much music out there as possible, new music. Yeah, I mean, when you have a massive catalog, also you can just say, hey, look, I can do
Business card, baby.
song after song after song after song, and they're all of our songs,
Hmm.
and they're good.
Hmm. And on
Yeah.
the flip side, what did you have to pay more attention to, so the creative process stayed enjoyable and healthy for everyone involved?
I mean, the we I don't know if we run into too many issues about that we're veterans at it right now. It's like we get together and we do it. So the three of us, I mean, we've told each other everything you could possibly tell each other. We've been together so long. It's kind of like this is what we're doing. It's like whatever. You feel some kind of way, okay, whatever. It's like keep it going. So we're past all the I quit and you. It's like, bro, we're in it. So it's like what we need to do to get over whatever's going on so we can move forward. Um so we don't really have, I don't think we think about it from the perspective of, keeping everybody's spirits high and everything creative and everything. We just do it. It's just, hey, we're doing a new album. Let's get together. We talk about our plan for what we want to do. Like we knew we wanted to get that live album out of the way. So after we released the first album, we went into the studio a month later and recorded the live album. And the live album was mixed over the holidays. I listened to it yesterday. Think it's about 80, 85% there, but we need to have it done probably by the next 2 weeks. And then that'll go off to get pressed. And then we'll release that. And when we release that, it'll be in April or May, we'll release that. And then late summer, we'll release a whole new studio album and we'll drop that and just keep going. So that's what it's about.
What's distinctive between the live album and a studio album? What's
I mean, the
what's
studio the
what's the
studio
difference?
album is designed to be radio hits and stuff for movies and stuff like that. If you're really getting to know the band, is meant to be able to say, I'm going to play this in the club with DJs. I'm going to play it on the radio. I mean, there's some songs on the album that are like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And it doesn't feel that way, but when you do the numbers, you're just like, wow, that's just 2 minutes and 30 seconds and they got it done. And we felt like from that perspective, it's not needed. Again, the live album, and that happens the way it's recorded is it usually starts with myself or one of the other bandmates sitting down and coming up with an idea, producing it out, bringing it to everybody. If it's not already completely written out, we'll finish writing it together. Then we'll have musicians. Technology is great because I'll send it to my bass guy and be like, hey man, this is the bass line I have, but it's a keyboard bass line. Put a funky bass line on it. He'll do it. Then I'll send it to my guitarist. They'll do it. So we send it to people and they record their parts. It comes back. We have people come into the studio. They perform stuff. We have a few special guests like the guitarist for Star Child Jr., uh, who's the son of the original Star Child from P-Funk Funkadelic, plays on it, on this album. We have Ian Neville from Dumpster Funk plays on it. We have Erica Falls, who's an amazing vocal. She's all over the album. We have Ariel O'Neill, who plays with Beyonce and Bruno Mars and everything. She plays guitar on the album. We have a lot of guests, and I've met with half of those people. The other people live in New York, live in LA, live wherever, and we just send them the files, they record it and send it back. And so that's really cool. The live album is, again, us in a studio together. Within 4 hours we record a new album. That's what happens. Hey, hit record, we're playing this song, go. And we record it that way, and that's the way we do it. And that's got a whole different energy because it's longer solos, it's breakdown sections, there's arrangements that are different from, some of those arrangements would not work on a studio album because they're just too much for how people just music. But on the live version, it's like, oh, you get this breakdown, you get this flute solo, you get this drum break, you get all of those things happening on a live album for those people who want to check that out.
Everybody should check that out. I'm sure. I listened to the album while I was, thinking of questions for the interview, and I think you guys really have some really good stuff there. And I'm really happy to say that, over the years I follow you guys, and I have my favorites, but I mean, I'm excited to see what the next albums are going to include. And some of the older stuff was good. I really loved what you guys were doing because I remember when I was playing in Russia all those years, and I discovered you guys. And any of those songs coming out on remakes or any of that stuff?
I can't say that I can't say that we'll be remaking them. There's a band.
I mean, live performance is such a core part of Waterseed, what Waterseed does. How has the live show evolved with Digital Fantasy? I mean, and this how the this what you were doing back then was also forward thinking. Now the older stuff, and a lot of people probably missed that great stuff that you guys were doing.
Well, I guess to answer your first question,
Yeah,
this because we're
yeah.
working with you on this. We do have a strategy for how we want to release all of our stuff from years past, because 80% of it is not on streaming, you know, um, and that was intentional. But we'll probably put together something like a legacy series where we remaster and we re-release some of our older original things that we've worked on, and we'll figure out how we do that. But that will come down, that will happen, and it's funny that some of the things we wrote back then, we really worked hard on them. And I think they stand the test of time. Even some of the production is just like, oh, this was a cool concept. This is a cool song. So I think some people have requested it. I'll put it that way. Fans have said, where's this song? This used to be my favorite song. I can't find it anywhere anymore. And it's my fault. Band members will tell me, oh man, Thus and So loves this album. And I was like, well, too bad they can't listen to it. Right. And so, but we'll re-release that stuff and they'll get there. We'll make a big deal about it, but we'll keep that going. So we definitely, I know for sure the first EP that really took off for us and got radio play for us was an EP called Two Words.
2 words.
And for the people who don't know, it's called Two Words because water seed is 2 words. And so we said, tired people make a water seed 1 word. Water seed is 2 words. So this is called Water Seed 2 Words. I know for sure that album or EP will be re-released, and the person who was the vocalist mostly on that album was Sheena
Sheena.
Sampson,
Mm.
who's a great vocalist, and I love her voice. But we'll release that and we'll push that, and you guys will have access to it. We just don't know when, but it'll be much sooner than later.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to our audio. We'll have some audio podcasts with some of the artists from 2 words and how that developed a little bit, right? Coming
Correct.
out.
Yeah, we'll again, this. We'll do a companion podcast with it. So where we're talking to every or as many artists that were available that were around us at the time, promoters, influencers, people, musicians who played on the album. We're talking to them about the album, talking to them about what was the vibe of the band, because the vibe of the band has changed over the years.
Hmm.
How what did you think of the band? So it'll be like a whole kind of experience where it's basically the behind the scenes of every album, and really excited about that. And I think it's going to be dope. And yeah, that.
Cool. That's very thoughtful of you to do that. I'm looking and I'm really excited to be a part of it. Um, so to change the air a little bit, I like to run this by you. It's a game I like to play a little bit. And it goes like this. It's called a quick fire round. So, and I'll say a word. You say the first thing that comes to mind. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Journey.
Funk.
Europe.
Cool.
Balance.
Necessary.
Growth.
Knowledge.
Live.
Funky.
Freedom.
Necessary.
Right on. Yeah, like all of those are typical things you get a roadmap to follow for the new year, everybody. All the struggles we going through with these in the world today. So take note for that. Let's talk about Europe and New Horizons. Cool. So with that said, Europe now is part of the conversation, or am I assuming yes or no?
Conversation for Water Seed
Hmm.
has always been a part of the conversation for Water Seed. It would be nice. We've never performed Europe. People have said, oh, you need to go to Europe because, everybody will love you there. It hasn't happened for us. So I don't know if I would say it's part of the conversation. It's always been part of the conversation. I'm just, when it happens, it happens. Um, yeah, we were supposed to do it 2 years ago. We were set up to do it 2 years ago, and we decided to do New York for a month. It was COVID, coming out of COVID. We are like, I don't know if the world's even open yet. So, but yeah, Europe is cool. You know, we need to get there, and we'll figure that part out. So that's all I got for that, I guess.
Side of that, I wanted to know what excites you most about taking this project to new cultural, environments that you probably have never reached that may be
We're,
interesting for
we're, we're
you.
excited about because it is animation, it's a comic book and
Right.
stuff. We're excited about like introducing this to you know South Korea and Japan and the Philippines and Hong Kong, and these we're super excited about doing that. In fact, we're gonna, and I'm glad you brought that up because I completely forgot. That's how crazy life has been. We've had one of our songs translated into Mandarin, and so we're gonna
Hmm.
re-record that song in
Hmm.
Mandarin. And is the song Too Hot? And we're gonna re-record that. You're the first person to know about that publicly,
Right on.
Roberto, and we're
Right
gonna
on.
re-record it in Mandarin and have it done that way. So we're like we're 10 toes in it, just like let's go and like
Hey
get some
man,
cool stuff.
congratulations.
And comic book, same thing. We're trying to get all of our comic books translated into different languages. All I said is I believe, unlike our present situation in America, I believe that this is a global economy. And I don't want to say just economy. I think that for humanity to rise to the next level of really where we're supposed to be, we have to really let down borders. And that could mean, at least culturally, we have to really start sharing in who we are and the beauty of our differences, and judging everybody on an even playing field instead of from an area of fear. And so it's a hard road to think about that. And it's an interesting road to think about, especially as an independent artist, to say, oh, we're going to re record our songs in Mandarin. in Japanese to say these things, and then to do it and then say, we're going to do it. We're going to figure it out. We're going to knock this out of the park. It's something that we think is necessary. We think is important. We think that there's a future there. I mean, I was talking to a major booking agent, world renowned booking agent that was looking at picking up Funk Star. He's like, well, why would this sell in Japan? And I was honest with him. It's like, man, we're a bunch of black people from New Orleans doing animation and funk. If you can't sell that, I mean, come on, you shouldn't be in this business. So, I'm just being straight up about it, and we're good at what we do.
And you think your message for what the band is about can transpire in a very influential and positive way?
Do you know one person that does not want to be loved?
Donald Trump. No, I'm just kidding.
His problem is he really wants to be loved and he doesn't know how to deal with rejection.
Rejection. Okay, all right, cool. I'm just saying.
I got a whole thing on that. But everybody wants to be loved. Even the sad songs, the songs that are angry, that have all this vitriol, all of this stuff. Guess why they exist? It's because someone attempted to love and it didn't go the way they planned it.
Oh, nice view. Nice view.
So it's like, but everybody wants to be loved, man. And I'm not saying that all of our songs are like, oh, flowers and running around and hug a tree. All of our songs are not like that. But I think that it is the human experience. And oftentimes too much, we promote a vibration that's beneath us. And I think you got to get around people that vibrate on your same frequency so y'all can vibrate together and maybe influence other people's vibration. Look, I've had investors, and this investor promoter told me that about our music. He was like, man, your music makes people feel good. And, nobody wants that anymore. Everybody just wants to shake their ass and sex and curse each other out. I would invest in that, but I'm not going to invest in positive things. And it didn't help that this was a well-off Caucasian gentleman who, who was telling me as a black artist that he wanted me to just promote what I, on some level, feel is poison to people. And it's like, bro, I don't want to do that. He's like,
hey, are you crazy?
You want to do, if you want to be a partner, he's like, I'm good. I want, all money ain't good money, man. I'm going to pass. We were, and I think I said this previously, we were asked to do the Kennedy Center. And
how you doing something that you ain't good at? You know what I'm saying? Why do something?
Well, we've done the Kennedy Center twice.
I mean, not the Kennedy Center. I'm saying what he was asking you to do.
No, it's just that's not my vibration. It's like,
exactly.
Get it twisted. We got some songs that are rough, but what I'm not going to do is intentionally, spew hate and stuff like that out there. I mean, I think there's balance in everything, and I don't want nobody to think, oh, well, he's against hardcore rap and all the rest of this. No, I'm against anything that's not authentic. I'm against anything that's not. If that's somebody's story and it's hardcore, I support it. But you can definitely tell when those artists are just saying things to get people riled up and exciting and trying to make a buck. And I'll add even an extra caveat on that and said, it's also different if you're just trying to get the club moving. Yeah, that's different too. That's a celebratory kind of, we party and we doing a thing. That's all neutral. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion,
somebody might be feeling that kind of way for that moment when they go out, but when they go,
look, you need that lift. You need, you need Cardi B and WAP. You need the WAP. You in there feeling good, and there's a place for that. But there's balance too. And what I'm not going to do is like commit to like something number one that's not me or not us. It's also something that doesn't elevate somebody in some kind of way. And everybody went crazy about Glorilla, and only reason I heard Glorilla's whole album is because I was at the gym and my trainer played Glorilla all the time when they were when she first came out, and I've listened to the whole album a few times. And she has her things, but then she has her other things that are like, I need you to think about God. I need you to think about loving yourself. She talks about other things.
Okay.
So as an artist and a person, it's like, okay, I get it. She's dealing with two sides of a coin, and that's fine, you know. But what I don't want is just pop this, move that, did it all the time. It's like shoot this, kill that, F you, boom, boom, boom. It's like, man, you put that much energy into you. It's just, and even in conversations, if you always talking to somebody who's always negative, always seeing the
Ah,
weakness and stuff, always seeing this could be better, that it's like, man, why would you be around that? I've just learned over the years, if you focus on what you can control and positive things, your whole life and outlook of life is different, and you need that energy. You need it because you're just wasting. A professor told me once, he was like, do you know you can actually talk to the cells in your body? And I was like, whatever, I was young. And he's like, you can talk to the cells in your body and tell them positive things. You can do positive reinforcement and literally metaphysically and physically shift your body into positive situations and positive opportunities. And before I get off this rant, I'll say this. And I think maybe this question came up last time, and it was just everything that has ever not gone my way or our way, I've always grown from it and found positivity in that happening. That's not easy because you got to get your emotions out of the way, and you got to find what what can happen to help this thing move forward. So a lot of times we just had a huge meeting just yesterday, and this was meeting 5 and everything was going great, and then again, one person in the mix was just spewing it. And every time we say, well, let's do it this, that, and that, no, 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 no. And it's like, yeah, you were just no from beginning. And I get it. And we get off the call, and her guy calls me. He's like, look, man, this was going on, and that's what we're doing. So we good. Let's roll. It's just like, but uh it just gives you insight, man. It gives you insight to, like, don't get emotional. Like, take a step back, process the thing, have confidence in what you need to do and the things you need to do. Know that it wins, know that you're going to make it. And those people who don't get it, I'm not saying excommunicate them, but maybe pause on them for a second and say, hey, look, pause. I need to be over here with people that look. During the journey to Funk Star phase, I kid you not, I have sent text messages to people that's like, hey, you know what, you're cool, thanks for being around, but I'm not good right now. I need people that are in this type of vibe. No judgment on you. I get it, but I need someone that's going to be supportive right now, not someone that's going to be, on some other, quite frankly, shit.
mhm,
That
mhm.
I've moved past.
Right,
And I'm not talking about even really just life shit that I've moved
right,
past. Like,
exactly, exactly.
and I'm good on that. And we could double back, but right now I'm doing something in my life that is potentially the most challenging thing that I've ever done. And there's no roadmap. I wish I could call George Lucas and figure out how he did it. I can't. Uh, but that's what I'm trying to accomplish. And I don't need people saying, well, why don't you go back to, being a teacher? Or why don't you ever think about doing it? Why go, give up on it? How long have you been doing it? So thank you for being a great friend. I appreciate your insight, but at this point in my life, I do not need that. I need someone who's going to be supportive.
Why don't
And
you
that's
just give? Why
not
don't you
want.
just give up on sex? Why don't you just give up on what it
Well,
is?
it's just look, and it's look. I'm not opposed to critiques and people giving me critiques and advice,
I get
but
it.
it's when people are talking about, like,
I
you
mean,
move, and they're like, maybe we need to stop on the side of the road. No, man, we moving. If I stop, you know how much energy it's gonna take for me to get that car on? No, I'm good. I'm going. I'm gonna drop you off there. I'm gonna slow down. You do a tuck and roll, jump out, and I'm gonna put my foot back on the pedal.
I hope everyone listening to that understands what he means. But I mean, for me, it's easy, very easy, very simple to pop up all this negative and all. It's, I mean, that's the most simplest. It's really hard to do what you just said: stay positive and find a positive route, and actually believe in that. And on the, I look at it as, what would I rather be? And for me, I found that going to positive, like you said, it kind of clears out. If you focus, it kind of clears out the things that don't belong in your space anyway, or the people that don't belong in your space anyway. If you're really conscious about it, that's what I've noted. Some things just don't belong in your space.
Well,
When you have that mindset.
it's the harder road. It's easy to be negative. It's easy to be like someone who is just negative. It's
Yeah,
easy because we live in such a cynical world. You
yeah,
know,
it's
we live
difficult out there.
go to
Yeah, the
social
world.
media,
Yeah.
everything is cynicism. Everything is beating you down. Everything is whatever. So it's easy to be negative. It's easy to find fault because it makes you, in a weird way, it makes you feel good. It's like, I'm not that. They're this. I'm not that. I'm better than you. And you're giving yourself this fake sense of
Better
strength.
than or better
And
than.
it's just like where you need to be like, hey, I'm focused on what I'm doing. That's their journey. If they're there, look, let them go through their path, but I'm focused on my journey. And the places we meet, we can commune, but everything else we're going forward. But positivity is hard because there are going to be a lot of people who are presently just not doing that. They're going to always need it. Look, I have to pull myself out of it all the time. I can see the fault in 90% of the things that are around me. I make a conscious effort. I don't judge it. I don't point it out. I let people do what they do. And some people get mad at me, like, why didn't it's like, hey man, that's their journey. I'm not going to do it. And for myself, it's always internal. It's like I have to shift gears sometimes and say, hey, I really don't want to get up today. I just want to chill out and stay in the bed. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to go to the studio. And I have to catch myself and say, bro, you get to do exactly what you wanted to do at 12 years old every day. What are you complaining about? You're doing exactly what you wanted to do. You're making music. It may not be on a level you thought you would be on at 12 at this age, but you're still in the game. A lot of people can't do that. And I try every day not to take that for granted.
Also motivating and giving yourself courage and crediting yourself for the things that you little things that you have achieved to this point. And if you're focusing on that road, that's also a good guideline, right? To keep your, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
roughing it out. Keep the energy flowing. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's good to stay in check, and it's always good to stay in check. It's always good to write down the things that are working and that you're doing because, again, in this business, I get 50 no's a day. People don't believe that, but no, I get 50 no's a day, and that's the direct no's. That's not the unanswered no's. There's still a lot of text messages and emails and stuff that go out that people never respond to at all. And it's like, what happened? I don't know. So there's a bunch, it's man, you gotta, if you want to have longevity in this business, you gotta figure out your area of peace, your confidence, because you will crack up. You will. I encourage, like, if you need to go to therapy, go to a therapist, go talk to somebody. It's important too. Like, go talk to somebody and yeah, just clear it gets gunked up in there, especially if you're an artist. You're consistently trying to achieve stuff just with your music. And just when you think it's a great song and you release it and five people listen to it, and you're like, why am I not going viral? And why am I? Look, there's reasons for everything. And unfortunately, I feel like in today's music business, if you have a great song, it doesn't make a hit. It make it a hit. I feel like you have to have a lot of other things around it. Um, and then if it's hit quality, it'll catch, but you got to really work it.
got a few more questions about this conversation about digital fantasy. What do you want people to feel when they experience digital fantasy?
I mean, I want them to feel a level of togetherness and everybody can come and be who they are in the space of digital fantasy. It is in the story for Journey to Funk Star, digital fantasy is a universal celebration that takes place like once every century or something. And the characters in the comic book are going to digital fantasy.
I
To the
never heard you explain. I never heard you explain it like
they're,
that.
yeah, they're going to the digital fantasy celebration on Planet Funkstar. That's what they're doing. But all kind of weird things happen and bad guys and lore and mystery and all these things happen in the book. So that's it as related to the comic book and the immersive concert. In general, if you're not into all of that, digital fantasy is a weird. I mean, it's there's a title track. There's a title track to the song. It's the last song on the album. It's called Digital Fantasy, and it's the first few lyrics are it's about us. It's about so the first few lyrics are Gaza on fire yesterday. LeBron's turned up, that boy can play. AI done learned it's here to stay. Ain't we special? You know, futuristic. Um, what is it? It's guys on fire yesterday. Hey, ain't you special? Ain't you special? Social status wrapped up in a dream. Caesar's running Rome, or so it seems. Will and Jada headline NBC. Ain't we special? You know, BBLs and simps dead chivalry. Cash for social liability. Therapy for help don't let them see that we're broken, yeah. And so those are some of the lines. And then the hook is digital fantasies coming. Make sure that your Wi-Fi is running. Digital fantasies coming. Stream it now, but never own it. Digital fantasy is coming. Choose your destiny is funded. Then digital fantasy, when it's done for good. And that's the hook for the song. So it's a song of warning of kind of like where humanity is now. And how we're connected into this. We're all plugged in. We're all in the matrix now, like for sure. We're all plugged in the freaking matrix. And there's only about 8 people globally, literally 8 people controlling what is like 8 billion of us now on the planet, something like that. So only 8 people controlling 8 billion people on a planet right now. And that's a problem. So it just talks about all of the things that are wrapped up in our human experience and really how we're fooled to think we're something unique, but we're really kind of sick on the inside, you know,
Ooh,
kind of depressing. But that's the non, funk storm immersive concert
I'm I'm
kind
hoping
of.
that understanding that depression, you know, can change, will change things.
Well,
You know?
hopefully it makes people think about it. It
Right,
makes people think about where are we putting our values,
right.
where are we putting, all of our things, where does all of this live? Where are we going? What's our destiny? You know, is what are we really doing? What are we we're the smartest version of ourselves right now. Not only are we the smartest versions of ourselves, we're the richest versions. We actually have human problems that can be solved today. Hunger, homelessness, diseases, all of we have. It's not like previous generations or iterations of humanity where they didn't know how. We actually know how. We just won't do it.
Do it.
We know how to get
Hmm.
clean energy. We know how to get people fed. We know how to get people off the street. I think we have the cure to cancer and everything else. We know how to do these things. We just won't do. So it's not for a lack of knowledge that we can't create a utopia here on Earth. I think there's something evil and lurking. That's all I'll say
It's
there.
that power and money, or hmm, hmm. Amen. Looking forward and wisdom to share. You've been through a lot navigating this industry, highs and lows, challenges shifting, and how music gets made and heard. What advice or mindset would you share with artists who are trying to build something meaningful right now? Quit.
Um, Yeah.
He
I would
said,
I would just say that the only thing that's going to win right now is authenticity. I think you have to be authentic to who you are and you have to double down on that. And that doesn't mean that who you are today is who you're going to be in 5 years, but whoever you are today, I think you have to be authentic with that. And you have to find people who vibe with that and who relate to that and who do that. Uh, but I think that's what it's about. Find people in situations, and when you go in and record and you go in and create your craft, and this goes for any type of artist, because computers are here. Go in and I'm gonna be real on both sides. If you're a painter, fucking be the best fucking painter you could be. Be authentic and real to what you're feeling. If you're a 3D AI artist who creates stuff using only, and I met a lot of people that like that, only using AI, be authentic to that. Just be authentic to whatever you're doing. And at least with all the weird things that are happening right now, some may say it's miraculous, it's wonderful things happening, but all the real things that are happening, you'll still have your integrity. And that's what's important. You don't want to be chasing somebody holding a carrot, you know, thinking you're going to get something. It's like, be authentic to who you are.
How could you in a few words, integrity? What is integrity to you?
I mean, that comes from your personal ethos, your personal, what makes you, what your litmus test for what's right and wrong, what's enough, what's
Right.
not too much. I
How
think
you
it's
was raised.
know, some people have very different integrity where, they're okay with doing some things I would never do.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to find something positive out of it, or something that, but I guess you
I mean, I
explained it.
guess the cliche is like integrity is when, you do the right thing when no one's looking. That's the one everybody always says. So, but
That's a good one.
the trick is,
Flatliner.
yeah, when you get to really think about it, the trick is what may be right for you may not be right for me.
Right, that's
You
true.
know, and you weigh that. And I do think that as we as humans, we have a set of norms that definitely are right and wrong. Like, it's not right to take another life, you know. Um, but then there's situations where it's a self-defense. If it's this, it's we're complex humans. So I think you have to put your own kind of vibe in it. But
Hmm.
I've always tried to live my life like I try not to cause harm to other people in any way. And I try to I live and live and live as long as you're not causing harm to someone. In other words, what I mean by that is I like people to live and live. Do you?
Do you?
If you cross the line and you start taking advantage of and hurting other people, I
Mm,
think that's when we have to step in. That's where that gets, nullified. But if you're in your
mm,
lane, you're doing your thing, and that makes you happy, man, be happy. I don't care who you with. I don't care what your religious belief is. I don't care, what government you're under. I don't care any of that stuff. It's like, if you're a person who just says, this is who I am, this is how I want to live my life, fine. I don't believe in the concept that the way a person lives their life can affect, unless the person's directly dealing with them, can with oh, my child saw this person doing this,
oh,
and now they're gonna be like that. And it's just like, no, because the biggest influence in that child's life is you.
is you?
So it's like, are you gonna lock your kids up and say not expose them to things that are in the world? And I'm not saying that little kids should be watching, porn or anything like that. I hope you don't get flagged for me saying that. Uh, but I do think that, man, if somebody chooses, same-sex marriage, let them do that. What's that
Hmm.
to do with you? If they
Mm,
choose interracial marriage, let them. What does that have to do with if they choose to be whatever they look? Just let them be. If that's what the freak makes them happy. If they want to be cross dressers and transgender and all of these things, and it's not. I'm not just talking about a sexual thing
yeah,
or
no, of course.
gender identity. I'm talking about in
Right.
all things. If they want to be a policeman, if they want to be a
Hmm.
man, let them be
Hmm.
what
Hmm. Hmm.
what they're called. If they want to be a writer, if they want to live in their car and they're not hurting anybody, it's like, let them do what they want to do. It's
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
let them be their best selves, and what they define as their level of happiness. because it's no good when people start faking. It's no good when people start living other people's lives, and I think that's when all the danger comes. And it's no, without getting too political, is no, and from the American point of view, I don't think that it's weird that every time somebody gets caught, you know with uh child, sexual misbehavior, or they turned out to be in the closet with their sexuality. They were running on a platform of hard right conservative, and I'm this conservative, and I'm that person and this person. And it comes out the guy who's waving it down with gay people, down with this, down with that. And they're the main people hiding it,
Right.
hiding their own. And I think if you're going to be, uh, you know, if you're homosexual, be homosexual. If
Be
that's your
that.
partner, I would much prefer you just be who you are so that it doesn't fester inside of your being and
Be
turn into something else.
turn into something else. Right on with that. That's a good knowledge. That's good knowledge speech. Good one. Good one. I really appreciate
Nothing to
that.
do with music, but there it is.
Yeah, no, man, I love it. It's authentic, as you said. I really appreciate that very much. Thank you, Lou, so much for starting this year off with us, 2026. You're the first one in this month. Nobody else wanted to do it. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I really appreciate you. And where can, yeah, this is very important. Where can people find Water Seed and Digital Fantasy right now?
So Digital Fantasy is on all your streaming platforms. You guys can find a band on at waterseedmusic.com, but you can also go to Facebook and put in Waterseed Music. IG, put in Waterseed Music. You can just Google Waterseed, will pop up. The name of the band is Waterseed, 2 words. But because when we got into the game, we had to put Waterseed Music because there was a book called Waterseed. So people confuse the band name all the time. It's like, hey, I'm listening to Waterseed Music. It's like, no, that's not the band name. It's like, we are Waterseed, and our tag is just Waterseed Music for the interwebby.
For the interwebby. Okay, that's an interwebby. What's an interwebby?
Hey, man, you got to be a Whovian, man. If you don't know
Okay.
nothing about Doctor Who, I
Okay.
admit it, man. I admit it. I'm nerding it out all the time, man.
With that said, this conversation with Lou here on Decisive Podcast Series, hosted by myself. Unfortunately, my lovely co-host Zoe Massa was unable to attend today. She had a birthday, and I think she maybe overdid it and couldn't join. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Zoe. But yeah, we have her back for the next podcast, which is in February on Valentine's Day with Christian Promer, and we're really looking forward to that. And those of you that may have missed the show, make sure you check out the replay. We will repost it, and we're going to do a lot of extra promotion for this one with the shorts. And Lou's going to spread it out with his people. So make sure you subscribe, go to the YouTube channel, and really help us get the things we need to do to continue. And again, Lou, thank you so much for joining us, and I wish you a good day. And what's your plan?
Uh, I have to do some studio work. I
Okay.
owe somebody a song, so I have to get that together for him. And yeah, I'm gonna chill out the rest of the day.
Okay, cool. Well, with that said, thank you so much again, man, and enjoy. And I look forward to hearing more about the Digital Fantasy and the next albums you got coming. That's gonna be
Yeah,
you.
thank you for having me. Big shout out to Zoe. I know we did this previously, which is cool. Yeah, so looking forward to it.
And thanks for my sound engineer, Curtis
Hey,
Lute, for helping me out, Curtis. All right, man. Have a nice one, huh? And you take care.
all right, you too.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you for spending time with us. Decisive podcast series live by Robert Ingram, co-hosted by Zoe Mazar.